So the message of today, the magnificence of the karmic play. Now, the internal karmic patterns would arise in the mind. Necessarily so, because you need to work them through. They are all filled with ego patterns. So once your ego is in play, these karmic patterns will come up. You have patterns of fear, of loneliness, of aggression, of anger, of joy, of kindness, all kinds of karmic patterns. And there are karmic patterns that are bearing fruit, karma phal, they're bearing fruit. And we call them prarabdha karma. They're the ones that are manifesting now. They take over your mind, take over your emotion, drive the body. That's how you are, driven by karmic patterns. You may be conscious of them, or you may not be conscious. You may not be conscious of how much aggression you have, how much animosity you have, how much hatred you have, how much traumas you have in the inner space. You may just live them through thinking that this is my nature. No, they are patterns in the consciousness. They're not your essential nature. You know what your essential nature is supposed to be. Such an anand. Such an anandoham. My inner being is nothing but Sat, eternal existence, always existing. Chit, the consciousness. Pure, untainted. And Anand, the bliss of the play. The infinite within us is in a play with itself. We are all wrapped in that. Because we are the infinite manifesting as egos in the play. We are the infinite, such an Anand, blissfully in the inner space, but in the ego space, all kinds of personas, archetypes manifest. It's really important to see which archetype, which ego type you're manifesting. It's quite a revelation when you begin to see the patterns that bind, the patterns that are dark, tamasic, the patterns that are full of ego, rajasic, and the patterns that are full of kindness and compassion, sattvic, the gunas, the soul qualities at play. Do you see them? Which one are you wrapped in? Or which combination are you wrapped in? And which one is the leading one? Which is the dominant guna? Is it rajasic, always ego, restless, selfish? Is it ego driven by sattva? Because the ego is always active in the play, the rajas. Is the ego driven by sattva, the light, or the ego driven by tamas, the dark? What kind of ego are you carrying? They are all part of the play. But when you are able to see all these patterns in the consciousness, and you're able to stay aloof, transcendent, we say, you are gunatita, you are above the gunas, because you're witnessing the play. And when you are able to witness from a blissful space, the blissful witness, We say that you are in the state of Turiya, the place where you are enjoying the bliss of the witness. Because you can begin to witness, but there is no bliss. You fall in and out of it. Sometimes you're witnessing, sometimes you get caught and you become engaged. But when you're witnessing blissfully and transcendent, you are in the Turiya state. Those are the possibilities in the play. And there are always messengers on the earth's plane from the highest. It's all part of the play. And when messengers come in a dark period, they are likely to be killed, the body. Mortal life is taken like the Christ, like the Buddha. The Buddha was poisoned. But they live above the play. That's why Christ could manifest such compassion. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Buddha was the same. Even the Mahatma, the great soul, Mahatma is not the name of Gandhi. It is the name that was given. Great Atma, great soul. Even when he was assassinated, Ram, he uttered the name of God. He was so habituated to uttering the name of God. Ram, 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 Ram. He passionately believed in repeating the name. And when he was shot, Ram. And Christ was on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They're ignorant. He didn't hurl abuses at them. Father, forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive them. For they know not what they do. And the Buddha was meet aggression with love. Meet aggression with love. And wisdom, of course. Because when he was severely abused in a gathering, and his disciples wanted to throw the guy out, the person out, he said, no. Let him speak. Let him vent. Say all that you need to say. Tell me all that you need to tell me. Empty your heart. And when the guy was taken back, so he said, okay, I've said what I needed to say. Buddha said to him, well, when someone gives you a gift and you don't accept it, where does the gift go? Well, we have to keep it. Well, I don't accept anything that you told me. Who keeps it? The abuser. Who continues to be stressful? The abuser. Buddha was freed. Wise. Buddha means wise, wisdom. He was the awakened one, the wise one. Did you see how they treated the karmic stage? In play. Deep understanding of the nature of it. So when you come out of your sitting meditation, where are you? In the karmic stage. You have to meet with your world. What comes up when you meet with your world? And is that inner space that you've gained, that merit you have gained in your meditation, gone? Wasted as you begin to interact? Or does the same love, the same depth of understanding that you began to experience in the meditation, manifesting on the outside? Why not? Is it supposed to manifest only when you sit down? Are you supposed to be peaceful only when you sit to meditate? Are you supposed to look at the prana only when you meditate? Are you supposed to look at the patterns inside only when you meditate? So what about the world? You think everything placed in the karmic play is something that some God is punishing you for? Or the God has forgotten you? The divine is playing with itself. Everything in the play is divine. That's the first deep understanding we all need to have. Christ put it very simply. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. He must have explained why, but we only got the words, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But the meaning is, because your neighbor is a reflection of yourself. Because the neighbor is a part of you. Because the neighbor is divine as well. You're hurting yourself. Do you know what happens to these soldiers in the war? They come back traumatized. They have killed part of themselves. Do you think they can live with that? In their quiet moments, a lot of them need therapy, psychotherapy. They have killed a part of themselves. They've destroyed a part of themselves. And we are waiting till humanity realizes that every animal that it kills is the same. And every plant that it strangles and root out of the ground is a part of itself. When you deny a plant water, do you see how it struggles? When you deny an animal food, do you see how it struggles? When you kill an animal, let's say a pig, or a goat, or a cow, do you know what happens in the slaughter? Have you heard the cry of an animal? In my old village, I remember when they're killing the pig, there is some sharp knife. And you would hear in the whole village the pig, oh my God, cry. Can you bear that? That's part of yourself. When you destroy the earth, do you know what you're destroying? You know how much microbes you're destroying? Your whole gut is full of microbes necessary for life. And you're trying to sanitize everything when we need to have a relationship with these things. You don't want to play with the mother, the earth. You wash your hands so clean. We have not even learned how to live with all these bacteria as part of ourselves. Your gut is full of them. You want to sanitize your gut? No, your gut needs them. Needs the activity of the bacteria. We are learning a lot now about gut health that previously we didn't know. How important it is to have that harmonious relationship with all of nature. You think all these disinfectants were created before? We made them. Just like how we make chemo to destroy the immune system. We think we are so wise. And this pandemic shows us up how little attention we pay to our immune systems. Or low resistance, comorbidities, eating wrongly, stressing out the body. What do you expect? The result is a pandemic. It just shows us up our weaknesses. And the more affluent countries, the more rich countries, they are the ones who suffer the most. The poor countries, no. Enough of that. But the stage is important. And everything on the stage is divine. And it's not you who I have in display. The self within you is in display through all its various forms. So it is for you to wake up in the play and learn how to harmonize in the play. Your stage is extremely important. Everything in the play is orchestrated for us to work out our prarabdha karma, the karmas that are manifesting. Everything on the stage. So don't you want to be wise when you begin to act on the stage and don't get caught reacting, the reactive patterns? You want to be wise. You need to be emotionally intelligent in the play, know which emotion to use in the play to manifest. You need to know what thought to use. You need to develop intuitive awareness so that you can be guided by the infinite within you. She's in the play. In illusion, you think that you are playing, caught up in the ego. And that's where some of us who are self-righteous, we understand the play a little bit, and we think that we can do it whatever we want in the play. No, we need to follow the infinite in the play. Some of us think we begin to understand that there is no good, no bad. And then we want to just exert raw power because we know that there is no good and bad. It's only the self. No, you can only say that from the freedom space, not from the self-righteous ego space. So the one who is transforming into the light needs to be very careful not to use that consciousness until freedom. But if you stay with intuition, you'll be guided by the self, even as you begin to feel there is no good, no bad. Even as you begin to open up to the wisdom of the play, stay, most importantly, connected to the self. Intuition. You see it in the Mahabharata. Arjuna simply wanted Krishna to be his charioteer, his guide in the play. He wanted the self in pure manifestation as Krishna, the transcendent self, to be his guide. He didn't want any army. He wanted just the one who carried the Sudarshan Chakra, the weapon that could destroy anything. He wanted that one to be in the play. Of course, Krishna was wisdom itself. That's why you have the whole Bhagavad Gita. It's the wisdom of the self, song of the divine. So when the ego plays within you and you begin to follow the sattva, you need the intuitive faculty on the stage. You need to be guided by the higher self on the stage. You need to. Arjuna was in the same kind of battle, the stage. But he had Krishna with him at every stage. Can you make the stage important? Can you open your eyes on the stage? Can you use all that you've gained from your sitting meditation on the stage? Can you integrate the inner and the outer? That whatever you've learned and developed in your sitting meditation, you can manifest on the outside? That's the question. And therein lies the answer. That's what you need to do. That's what a master player does. Highly intuitive, aligned to the stage, and inner and outer world are in harmony. That's the message of today. The magnificence of this karmic play. Appreciate it. Wake up to it. See the beauty of it. The beauty and magnificence of the karmic play. I absolutely love it. And I love being in this play. Doesn't matter what I'm surrounded with, how much darkness I'm surrounded with. The inner light can match anything. The inner light is far greater than anything. And when the world don't accept what I say, doesn't faze me, doesn't bother me. I know the future. I know the possibilities. I know the power we have. Why should I be worried about anything on the outside? I live in the security of the inner space. There's nothing greater. Nothing happens on the outside without a sanction, the approval of the inner. When the great governor tried to tell Jesus, don't you know I have the power, Pilate? You know I have the power to free you or crucify you. Pontius Pilate in all his glory, all his ego. Jesus said to him, so peacefully and full of wisdom, you wouldn't have that power unless the Lord above gave it to you. Then he washed his hands out of it. I don't want to be involved. He understood. He was humbled by the words of Jesus. That's where power comes from. That's where security is. That's what security is. Make sure you stay connected to the inner light, to the supreme light within you. That's awesome power. And by the way, it's also the supreme healer. When you go into the healing mode, that's where you go for the ultimate in healing. And ultimate in healing doesn't mean that you transform the body to live forever. No. Ultimate healing may also mean now I know the body has to go and I'm centering in my light and I'm moving out of it. I'm moving beyond it rather. Because I stay inside of it with its karmic period, but I'm moving into the light. I'm holding my body in the light. My body served me well, I'm holding my body in the light. Every being who knows the inner space is unafraid of what will happen to the body. Because the body just drops off. Like the Mahamrityunjaya says, Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityur mokshya. In the same way that a ripe gourd is severed from the vine, in the same way, let everything drop off from me, including the mortal body. Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityur mokshya. And the final word says, Mahamritat. Don't withhold from me immortal consciousness. Don't withhold from me immortal consciousness. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. I honor you, the deathless being. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. That your fragrance that comes from your deathless self, that prana, nourish me and bring prosperity. Sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityur mokshya. Free me from everything that binds. Let it fall away. Let it fall away. Even mortality, let it go. And don't withhold from me. Mahamritat, immortal consciousness, Amritam. That's the beauty of the prayer. That's why I absolutely love it. I hope that I've inspired you. I've kept you back quite a bit. But I think it's an important message as we come to the end of the year. Have a blessed Sunday, everyone. Namaskar.